why most people don't move forward even when they know exactly what to do. And I'll try my best to use the simplest examples and the simplest relatable analogy that you have experienced so that you can see yourself in the situation and you can also extrapolate it to your current life or to whatever it is that you're facing right now. Now, imagine that you love curvy girls, you love tall, curvy, chocolate girls, and you're walking down the road, and across the road, you just spot your exact type of woman. Now, I'm saying this from the external part of it because you might actually have other specifications or what you look out for in a partner internally. But I'm describing the external part of this equation. So you're walking across this road and she's, let me say she's walking towards you and you're trying to like close on her. This is what you've been, dreaming about for a while. And for some reason, the more you get close, the more you're coming up with excuses why you should not stop and engage her or like say hi or whatever. And you come up with excuses like, I don't think now is the right time. I don't think I'm looking best right now. I'm looking shitty. This is not how I want to meet my dream woman. Or you say something like, I'm not financially stable right now. I need to focus on my life. Or you come up with some, logical reason that, yeah, it makes sense to you. And while you're still contemplating and your mind is rushing and, you're having these thoughts that you don't even know where they're coming from, but they are making sense and bringing up logical reasons why you should let that opportunity slide. And while you're still doing that, the lady just passes you by and you're like, yeah, I'm right. I shouldn't have spoken to her because if I spoke to her, I'll lose focus. I'm being serious with my goals this period. I'm not here to chase women. I'm on my purpose. I'm on my grind. Or you say something like, yeah, I wasn't looking that fresh. So, some other time, I know I'll see her some other time. Like you make logical excuses like that. You knew what to do. You knew that you needed to stop and say hi. But because you had some logical justification of why that moment wasn't the right time, you let that moment pass by. Now, I will tell you what was going on behind the scenes subconsciously in your body and mind without you knowing, and why that logical reason made sense, because there is an emotional reason, there's emotional escape, an emotional escape that you're trying to hide away from. So when that emotional excuse comes up or emotional tension comes up, you translate it into a logical reason that comes out like, I'm not ready, I'm not looking my best, and all that. And the emotional justification are the underlying reason why you would spot opportunities that are meant for you, but you will sabotage that opportunity because of some logical reason. Now, in the case of that girl, to you, you might think that what was in play was your priorities and your goals and your finances, but what you were actually hiding away from was responsibility and accountability. Responsibility and accountability. And that's because you had no control of the situation. Because think about it this way. If you had stopped the girl, you did not have any idea of the response she would give you. You did not know if she would be receptive, whether she would be calm, or whether she would ignore you, or whether she would react in many ways. So since you could not predict what reaction you will get from her, you turn that lack of responsibility. Why I say lack of responsibility is because when you can't control a situation, it is your responsibility to be okay with the outcome of the situation, regardless of it favoring you or it going against you. You're not able to take the responsibility of any possible outcome that comes from that interaction. That's why I said the underlying issue is the fear of accountability and responsibility, because once you speak to the girl and she turns you down, You would confirm your bias. You'd be like, yeah, I said it. I wouldn't have spoken to her because I wasn't smelling good today. So basically, that was why she rejected me. That's it. She rejected you because you lack accountability. That's it. The rejection shouldn't change who you are. It shouldn't tamper with your self-worth. But you could not make that move because your self-worth was tied to her response. Your self-worth was tied to her response. And you could not garner the strength, the inner flair to be okay of the outcome. You needed control. Because I tell you that if you had an idea of what her response would be like, you would probably move on. If you knew that she would be okay with you talking to her even without you smelling good, or without you cutting your hair, or without you being financially buoyant and all that, you will shoot your shot because the outcome is already predetermined. But because the outcome is uncertain, you chose not to enter the middle. And that middle is scary. The middle might, turn out good or turn out bad. But since you could not withstand the wave that comes by standing in the middle, you decided to retreat and be in control. And once you're in control, you can't move forward. That's why you sabotage your progress. I'm using this whole dating scenario, or you speaking to a girl scenario. You can extrapolate it to other areas of your life. You might actually be applying for a job, but you're applying for that job from a place of, man, I know they will reject me because I'm not really qualified. The qualification said 5 years, but I'm 4 years of experience. So if you said 5 years and I'm half 4 years, I don't think I'm suitable for this role. So once they reject you, once you send your application and you see a decline email, you'll be like, yeah, I knew. So this all happens subconsciously. It's not something you consciously speak about, but it's something that affects the way you show up in those situations. The idea behind you not giving a fuck or you not being outcome dependent is, once you are stress-free about a situation, it shows up in how you interact in those situations. For example, let's say you're watching a football match that is a replay. Maybe Chelsea and Arsenal played a football match and the score is 1-1. The outcome is already predetermined. You know the score of the match. That's 1-1. So when you're watching the match, you can actually drink beer, you can eat meat, you can do whatever it is you want to do because, bro, you don't give two shit, because at the end of the day, this match is going to end 1-1. But put yourself in a position where that match is live. You'll be tensed. You'll be running helter-skelter. Depending on if you place the bet, if this team is a team you support, or maybe like for some reason you will be uncertain and you'll be on rest. That's because the outcome is not predetermined. It's something that is uncertain, and uncertainty is scary. So most people don't move. They sabotage their progress. You don't move. Some people don't move, and some people move from a place of fear. Both ways, it will end up in you sabotaging that thing. Both ways, because some people will say, yes, I was scared, but I moved. Yeah, you were scared, but you moved. It's always better than not moving, because the more you put yourself in that position, let me say you see a fine girl walking towards you and you garner the opportunity and the strength, not the opportunity, you garner the courage, not the strength, not the opportunity. You garner the courage to speak to her. If you do it today, you do it tomorrow, you do it next tomorrow, you see that your nervous system will readapt, because it will be like, bro, I keep speaking to these girls, they keep turning me down, but at the same time, like, life continues. I did not die. So whenever you meet a girl, you're probably going to, be more confident than the last time. That's basically what's happening. You're training yourself to be better. But when you get to the place of you don't give two shits about the outcome of this situation, you don't overthink it, you don't overreason it, because once you're being rejected, that's one thing with rejection. Once you're being rejected and that rejection hits you in a place of tampering with your self-worth, that's what keeps you stuck for a long time. It keeps you stuck for a long time because it's fucks with your self-worth, it fucks with your confidence, it fucks with who you are. You now tie who you were to the outcome of that situation. And that's crazy. That's something that we do, but we tend not to know the implications and consequences and how it keeps us stuck in one place for quite some time. So that's why I'm making this video. I'm making this video for you to identify yourself if you're someone that is making this type of mistake. It mustn't be a scenario of a girl walking by and you're walking towards her. It can be anything. It can be a scenario of you feeling less of yourself when you're around some type of people. There is always an emotional reason to that logical excuse that comes up in your head. So if you're someone that already have a decision made, but you're finding it really difficult to execute, I help people execute decisions that they already know they should make. So you can hit the link in my bio, and I'll see you on the other side.